right, now we are officially recording. You know the deal. You can record on your own if you want to. There we go. Now, my screen is blocked by all of your faces. I assume you don't see your faces. You just see the slide with the dog in front of you. Is that pretty much what we have there? Nodding is acceptable. Thank you, Aurora. And somebody just showed up. I don't know if that was Nora who it was. So hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you had a good 2 weeks since I've seen you last. Lots of things to get into today. And I hope to be able to shortly, early on in our meeting, I hope to be able to solve problems, or at least give you a direction to solve problems. Number one, I've already received some of the revision assignments, so that's happening. I also know completely factually that some of you have been able to actually see the comments. I have a little bit of an answer about that, but we'll get into that in a second. And then we'll also finish up with some stuff about the book. So let's get into the materials here. So we'll first talk about some classroom management stuff here. I amuse myself with little icons and stuff like that, because the simple tiny little icons right there keep things simple for everyone. So I'm sure you'll appreciate that. So first, we've got on the left hand, we've got our little dog thing, which is classroom management, and then a little pause that will deal with stuff about writing. And then finally, all I got here was like a dog going to a vet. So I don't know, that's kind of silly, but that's the things they carried stuff. I'm tired of looking at little rabbits for Angstrom, so I'm done with Angstrom and trying to like take care of her. So here's a hedgehog. We'll find like baby animals as we go. Does anyone have any good fun stories from the last couple weeks? No is an acceptable answer, but is there anything that anyone wishes to share? Good information, fun information, dare I say bad information, but I don't know if there's anything that anyone has to share. I see peculiar faces from people as though you're contemplating what terrible things to share with the class. And I won't even mention who I see that says that. Nobody has unmuted their mic, so I assume that no one has anything that they wish to share. People looking around like, I don't know if I should or not. Hovey's, that smile on Hovey's face suggests that there's something that she wants to, nope, she's shaking her head, no. And Morton, I don't know, Morton, no new haircuts or anything like that we've done. No. And we see apparently Swanee's here somewhere. All right, very good. Let's keep on moving on then, since no one wants to share stuff, which is fine. I don't have anything fun to share. Of course, you know that I know nothing about when or if we come back to school. If I ever find that out, you'll find out before me. So I don't have anything. Where am I? I don't even know where I am. I have nothing to share here. Let's continue. Classroom management stuff. So this is where we'll talk about things that are happening this coming week between now and the next time we have a Zoom meeting. First, the schedule. This has already been posted, so there's nothing new here. I'm going to talk about the book towards the end of our meeting here, but this is just a quick refresher. The things they carried is for tomorrow. That is the short story. And then you see another collection after that. And then finally, a third collection. Now, the 27th is Monday, but I included it anyway, since we won't have a Zoom meeting between now and then. So the 27th is when that next item is for. We'll talk about the writing assignment. This is all due date stuff. The writing assignments we'll talk about in a moment. I know there's frustration. I believe you that there's frustration. I totally understand it. We'll try to solve that. I checked about half an hour ago, looking at my phone, half an hour ago, 4 of you have submitted assignments. So assignments are in from some people, so you're able to see them. All JCC essay assignments for the year are done. So I'll repeat that. JCC has a very specific list of things that were given to you in the syllabus that have to get completed. That's done. So from now on, it's reading stuff that goes from there. But JCC work isn't finished. I've mentioned this to you. I'm just quickly going to talk about it now. You absolutely must be sure to keep all of your stuff. Please don't delete files. Don't dump your peer review stuff. I did not get peer review materials from everybody. Keep that stuff, because as we conclude the year, we still have to do a portfolio. It is a mandatory item for JCC. This is not a me thing. I'm on board with it. I think it's great. But there is a portfolio assignment. And the way this works, I'm just going to mention it now. Let's say this is the worst case scenario. I'm sure it would never happen. But let's say you have an A in the class. like a 99 average, you're sailing through for an A, and you do this last essay, and it's okay. And then we put it all together. This essay then goes to somebody from JCC that looks at it, and somebody from JCC can say, hey, you know, I looked at this essay. This doesn't look like a student that is ready for the next class. They've never done it to me. I've never even heard that they've done it, but there's the possibility. What could happen is an instructor could look at this and go, yeah, this person's not ready, and you may not be able to move into the next assignment. So I want you to be mindful of the fact, like, this portfolio assessment, when it comes up, it's going to be like late May and June. It is something that's essential. It is a JCC requirement, and you have to do it. Let's pretend you don't want to take 15, 30, and 40 next year. Awesome. But you can't have the credit without getting this portfolio review done. Mara, I thought I saw a hand up there for a second. Like, a little moose here.
Yeah.
And I see Mara's got a question. Some of you, I can't see your face on the screen. So if you have a question.
I have a question too.
Awesome. So I'll get Mara.
Riser.
Is that Allie?
Yep.
Of course it is. All right. So we've got you and then Allie. So I can't see all of you. So you're going to have to say something for me to hear it. So let me get Mara first and then Allie. Mara, what's your question?
Okay. So it was about like the technicality problems. You told me to email Mrs. Johnson, and I did. And for people that are like still apparently having difficulties, all you have to basically do is download the new update. You just have to go into your settings for software update. Like, I didn't even have to turn off my iPad.
Actually, Mara, that's great. I'm actually going to talk about that in just a second because there's a little bit, you're completely right. There's a little more to the situation to talk about, not how to fix it, but I want to go through that in a second. So Mara, thank you, by the way. I have a feeling like, and Olivia's been in contact with me repeatedly over and over again, which is wonderful. And I appreciate that. I'm aware of some issues and we're trying. So me asking Olivia a million questions, or Emily Lyon, because Emily Lyon is in contact with me as well quite a bit, and Ashlyn Harvey too. I ask you questions just because I want to make sure this doesn't happen again. I don't want there to be a problem, whether it's later this year or next year or whatever. I just want to solve problems. So forgive me for asking questions, but I do have a few more things to say about that. So Mara, thank you. So in the settings, you don't have to turn it off. I know I sent you guys an email about that because at least in sometimes you turn it all the way off, turn it all the way back on, it'll recognize that there's an update and will auto install. But thank you, Mara. Allie, what's your question?
I thought that we didn't have that mandatory profile thing until next year. Like, this year was practice for it because my one paper, like, I lost the first draft of like the handwritten for the first essay, and you said that this year was like good practice for next year.
Well, okay, so 1530 is going to be something that does it next year too, which of course, assuming you stay in the class, that's the first semester. The word I've got is that they want 1510 to do it, but they're going to be lenient about it. But 1530 is something that they're not, like, from 1530 is going to be more significant. So overall, you're not wrong. It's something that, put it this way, we're going to do it now so that when you have to do it in the fall of 2020, it's easy. It's like second nature.
Okay, thank you.
Izzy and Colin have unmuted. Izzy, do you have a question?
Well, I was just going to say the same thing because I literally didn't keep anything, and then you told me it was fine. I just had to be better at it next year. So I don't really have anything for a portfolio.
Well, remember for this one, specifically for 3.3, I wanted you to save your peer review stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all online, so.
So that's fine. So if 3.3, well, it should be, because 3.3 should be our best work. So if 3.3 ends up being what we have everything for, that is all okay.
All right.
And Colin.
Oh, well, I was actually just about to ask, like, what should we do if we have stuff? Well, I mean, we have stuff missing, but I guess you just answered that anyways.
And again, let me be very clear. For about a million reasons, I'm completely confident in all of you. So I'm not concerned about this at all, but I want to make sure we follow the rules. As I've said, there are people like losing their minds over this type of stuff. Not us, not you, as far as I know, as frustrating as it is. There are like adult teacher type people like, I don't understand. And I'd be frustrated too. If I hadn't taught a class online for JCC last semester, I would be a little bit confused too, because there's not a lot of great examples for it. So anyone else with a question before I kick to the next slide?
Yeah, I do.
Who's that? Ashlyn, yeah, what's up?
So I submitted the 3.3 revision thing.
Yes.
I just turned it into at the Dropbox for 3.3 and not the new Dropbox. Do I have to submit it to the new one too?
Yeah, please do me a favor. Just kick it there over the next few days. There's no rush, and I can see it, but here's why. And I got an email. I think Morgan asked me just before class too. So I still see, even though it says missing your 3.3, I still see it. So I know it's telling you, and I don't know why. That's a new thing. It's telling you 3.3 is missing. It's not. I can still see it. So, but I do, because of that, because I want to keep 3.3 separate. Please put the new assignment into the new bin.
Okay.
Thank you. More questions. Typically, when you guys unmute, you go right to the top of my screen here. So, Maddie, question?
So the revision, the 3.3 revision assignment, that is going to bring our grade up or no? Like, is that like after you already graded our essays, or that's going into it?
Okay, so 3.3, they're two separate grades. 3.3 is going to be a grade for itself, which of course is going to deal with MLA format and the overall structure of the essay and all that stuff. The revision assignment is specifically for correcting mistakes. And I don't mean MLA mistakes. I mean like errors, punctuation, proofreading, stuff like that. So they are two separate grades.
Okay.
Aurora waved but did not unmute her mic. So I don't know if that means she has a question or she's just being polite. Yes, Aurora?
Yeah. So I was just gonna ask, like, the revision assignment is just when you keep saying like assignment, that just means fix like the grammar and stuff,
Correct.
and then resubmit it.
You're going to submit that in because there is and has been a Google Classroom for that.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
goes in that location.
Okay.
And I think it's actually called 3.3 revision assignment, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
Thank you. Turn the baby off. I can hear a baby.
I can't. I'm trying.
There you go. Colin.
I have a question too.
Oh, well, hold on. Colin's first. Colin.
Okay, so I think you sent well, I got your comments. It showed up on the side like it was your work on the side. Is there? It was really blurry.
Okay, so okay, you're talking two different things. So the first thing is, for some people, when I did the corrections first, that's when in fact, I think it was Olivia first, like, hey, these aren't working, I can't see them. All right, this is when I started asking questions of Mrs. Hinsdale, Mrs. Johnson, and so they are blurry. I'm not sure why they came through blurry, but specifically, Colin, I need you to follow the steps. First of all, and again, this is the email from yesterday, email Mrs. Johnson. I know that what Mara told you is correct. But email Mrs. Johnson, and she actually has a video. I don't know if Mara, if that's what you're talking about, the video. She did a video thing of it, and that should fix it where you can then see the comments. And allow me to say, before Colin and Olivia and Allie ask questions, people have been able. They've told me they can see the comments. So I know that whatever Mrs. Johnson is saying works because people have been able to see the comments. So that's the first thing. Now, this might be what Olivia is going to say because she's unmuted. So if that still doesn't work, we will figure it out on a case-by-case basis. Please, all of you, and I know not everyone's here, all of you don't sweat the due date if there's some sort of a glitch still. We will figure it out. The whole purpose for this assignment, 3.3 revision, is to fix mistakes, not to do it like in 40 minutes or an hour. The whole purpose is to make sure that you can fix your mistakes, and that's how we're progressing. Colin, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
Okay. Allie, you muted, so I'm going to go to Olivia and then come back to Allie if you have a question. Olivia?
So I can't see anything. I can't read anything. It keeps coming up. I can only view it. I can't type on my document.
Okay.
And I keep Mrs. Johnson. And we did everything that Mara said, and nothing comes up.
Mr. Becker, I just had to copy and paste mine into a new document to get it to be not on view only.
That was the
I
first
just
thing I was
created a whole new document.
Yep, that was the first thing I was going to say, a suggestion. And by the way, it should not be this way. So, Olivia, I believe everything you're saying. Totally understand. And this is, I'm confident, 1,000%, you didn't do anything wrong. So this is, every now and then, this used to happen with the seniors. They were sophomores. Like when we first got iPads, we were having this little glitchy problem. So what isn't said is correct. You have to save as a copy, I think, is one of the choices there. Or you can copy and paste everything that's in your document and just highlight it. And then you paste that into a new document, you should be able to open it. I don't have an answer for why you can't type in that file. I don't have the ability to change those things for you, but understand that that's the easiest way to do it. Now, I still respectfully would like you to check with Mrs. Johnson, and here's why: because there may be a problem. There may be some sort of a setting issue that, so the next student that I have that does this, I can say, hey, Olivia, this happened last year, like this year's sophomores. When they're in the class next year, I can say, hey, Olivia had that problem. Here's how we fixed it. So I know it's annoying, and I apologize for that, but we're looking to solve not just this problem, but future problems too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but could you resend me the comments, because I still can't see them.
Okay.
They're all.
Yeah. What I'll do is I need you. I'm going to ask Mrs. Johnson to make contact with you, but yes, I'm sure we can do that.
Okay.
Olivia, good?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Allie?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that you said this pretty clearly. I'm just not the fastest at picking up. I want to make sure I do it right.
Awesome.
This draft is specifically just like grammar, punctuation. We have a different time to fix MLA stuff.
Yeah, there
will
will
be
be
not
fixing
too.
for MLA stuff. MLA stuff, we covered that
Okay.
in the Zoom meeting, so MLA stuff will be graded as is. This is specifically just to
Okay.
deal with the stuff that's grammar, punctuation, spelling.
Okay.
I actually would have done something like this ahead of the regents anyway, but we have no regents, so we're just doing it whenever I feel like it. All right, so now on the screen here, so now I need volunteers. So here's what, on Friday, I do like food deliveries for the district. So I need volunteers. I don't care if you live in Falcon or Harvey. I don't care where you live. It doesn't matter. Friday, I want to get volunteers for both the juniors and seniors because we figured out how to do quizzes. So what I need is, if we had soccer players, we'd get some sort of like a net up. If we had football players that were kickers, which we don't, by the way, we'd be kicking field goals or something. But here's the deal. We're going to use basketball because it's easy. Either when I'm driving around the district vehicle, which I think they let me drive the Expedition, or like after that, when I'm going to be going home, here's how it's going to work. We'll get some volunteers, boy, girl, I don't care. And we'll drive up. I will probably, if I'm doing this when I'm doing the food delivery, it'll be with Mrs. Wozniak. Drive up, and you'll have to be there with the basketball. We'll have to take a shot, and we'll have a shot for a Monday quiz, a Wednesday quiz, and a Friday quiz. So that's how it's going to go. Now, if we have no volunteers, I've already got senior volunteers, so you'll just have to let it ride with the seniors and whether they shoot or not. So you'll have to have a basketball hoop at your house. We'll have to roughly call it like a free throw. We're not going to make you shoot 3-pointers. Roughly a free throw. And you'll have to let me know. I don't need volunteers right now. Send me an email if you're willing to have the entire class's quiz taking on your shoulders or not. You all like dealt with Olivia carrying you for the whole year shooting world balls. I think it's about time for somebody else to step up here. But I know Olivia.
Or she can continue to carry us.
Huh? What?
Or she could continue to carry us.
You know what? Oh, here's Olivia. What, Olivia?
My basketball hoop is out of commission.
Yeah, it's on the back of your barn or something, isn't it? Or was?
No, my dad's building a new one, and right now he's welding it together.
He's welding it. All right. Well, Olivia can't save you anymore. So listen, I'm going to let it go. I've already got volunteers from the seniors, but I'd prefer to have juniors do it too, so that the world is in your hands yet again, and see how that goes. But we'll come back from that. And I would imagine that Harvey's got a hoop at her house. I'm not saying I'm going to Harvey's house. It's up to volunteers, but that's what the deal is. And we'll video the whole thing. So it's not going to be like, oh, I went there and they took a shot. No. We're going to video the whole thing so there's proof of the situation. Maddie Johnson, I don't know if we're still doing gymnastics. We'd have you do like a back handspring or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work out because we don't want anyone to die in the process of this. Anyway, that's for later on. You can send me an email. I'll remind you by email too before Friday. Writing stuff quickly. I want to go through this because it's 12:22 and I want to get into the book too. Some quick points about 3.3. A lot of concerns about the length of the essay. It needed to be 4 pages minimum. I got one essay, no names. I got one essay that was 3 pages and 1 line. Now that's absolutely not the minimum. So understand, if you were under 4 pages, then what's going to happen is that's a 25% cut just on the length of the essay. So be aware of that. We've talked about length for essays and stuff before. MLA problems were there too. I'm less worried about that. I did talk about some things in class, but there are some people very close. So little tiny mistakes I'm not worried about, but larger problems are a concern, and we need to make sure that those things get done. So we'll talk about those things later on. The revision assignment, the iPad updates, we talked about that a little bit. Please follow directions in the email. I know I answered some of your questions. Continue to email me if you have problems. I mean, we'll get it taken care of. You are not to blame if there's an iPad issue. That's simple. You didn't do anything wrong. All of this is imperfect, and it's just the situation, but you are not to blame for that. So please be aware of all that stuff. Yeah, so the revision thing, this is to answer Allie's question for the 70th time. Make sure that you are only dealing with the grammar, punctuation, spelling. You don't need to worry about the MLA stuff. That's a separate issue. So I've already mentioned that. I'm just blowing through there again. And finally, this is something for all of you, because there's a lot of materials talking to another teacher whose child takes AP classes, so not a Panama kid. The AP test, which I'm not a big fan of anyway, colleges have already said that they're not really going to accept the AP tests for next year, so when you graduate, because they're letting the AP test be taken at home on your computer. SATs have been canceled. The last I saw, they were trying to get together one for August, but the one that was coming up is gone, and there's no guarantee that anybody's going to take the SAT. So your class performance really matters. Your writing performance really matters. So this last essay, you see the third point on the screen right now, I'm using this final essay as the baseline for how we're ending the year. So this is, if what I have from you, I've got Izzy Bailey's essay in front of me. This is Izzy Bailey's best writing, and we will build from here for senior year. I am expecting that you'll be with me next year. If you're not, awesome, great for you. But my expectation is you'll get the next 6 credits of English next year too. So I'm planning that way. So just as a heads up. On this slide, I have a thing on the bottom that says questions. Anyone have a question about what I just said?
How are we doing? You said we're figuring out a way to do quizzes. Are our quizzes still like the same thing we've been doing on Blackboard? Okay.
Kind of. Actually, the quizzes, I'm going to try to use Google Classroom for that. And there's a few different ways to do that, as my dog attacked someone downstairs. There are a few different ways to do that, and I can sort it out. It's just a matter of which way we're going to do it. I'm actually going to try a couple different things out. And also, the quizzes are not going to be crazy. You know, in class, sometimes they take like half the class to do. They're not going to be anything like that. A quiz is probably going to be 1 question. I'm not going to give you 3 question quizzes to make you sit there for an hour and a half. It's nothing like that. They're going to be lower stress and low key, but they are still going to be something that exists. So just as a heads up to answer the question. Any other questions?
And I'm assuming that's along with the writing that we do each week?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the book here because it's 12:26, and I know we'll go a little bit past 12:30. It doesn't have to be too long, but there are some things I definitely want you to know. You know this, we have a history in class with authors that will write something that is kind of themselves and kind of not. We go back to Willa Cather. We go back to, stuff like, we're reading Ethan Frome with how some of the things have happened in the author's life and things they carried is another example of that. So we'll see his life in the book. So the author, Tim O'Brien, real guy, still alive, was born in Minnesota, college educated, like exceptionally college educated, and he served in Vietnam. He won medals for his combat time in Vietnam. So this sounds kind of lame, but he's quote unquote a real soldier. He went to Vietnam and did things for whatever that's worth. And his writing talks about that. He's won many awards. I did not list them. You can look them up yourself. And he's somebody that you can find, generally speaking, this book that we're reading is considered to be an excellent book, but he also appears on banned book lists too. When we get done with the book, I'll talk about it. So this book and our final book have some things on there that are challenging to read. We'll talk about this one when we're done to see what you think about banned book lists. No one around us is banning him, but there are places in the country that have banned the things they carried. Panama students of mine have read some of his stuff. The first book he ever wrote was called Going After Chicado, which is a guy in combat who disappears. and then the men have to go find him, and they have to deal with the idea, like, should we put our own lives at risk to find this guy who just decided to take off? And there's a lot about that. There's another book called In the Lake of the Woods We Have at Panama, multiple copies, a very good book, not about Vietnam, like a thriller. And there's a lot of those Netflix series that are like true crime things. They're a lot like that book, and there's a lot of pieces to it that remind me of that book. And then the things they carried, what we're reading now, but the first story as a short story is in your senior textbook you'll get for next year. It's actually a separate story. The seniors read the whole book that you're reading now. They read that when they were sophomores. What you'll see here is that it's episodic, like Invisible Man, where we could take the Battle Royal chapter, and that was published as a short story. The very first chapter of this book, which is titled The Things They Carried, you should know this already, that was published as a short story too. And 5 of the stories in this book, 5 of the chapters in this book were published separately on their own, and then he kind of gathered them all, put them all together, and that's what we ended up with our book. I've tried to gather your reading sections, you know, the assignments. I've tried to group them. So for instance, the things they carried, I did by themselves. Friends and enemies I put together because they do fit. But pretty much in every one of the reading passages that we have, they are grouped around one of the longer short stories. There's some really good ones. I actually didn't know this. I looked and found that one of the short stories that we'll read later was turned kind of into a movie, like for TV, with like some famous actors and stuff, but I have to look at it first to see if it's any good. It doesn't sound like it was any good, but I don't know. Also, they adapted this book into a play, which is really weird. Like, I don't know how they did that. I saw little bits of the video, and it looks pretty painful. Well, I took it. Were you guys the ones that went with me to see Call the Wild at JCC back when you guys were in middle school? Did you guys do that with me, or was that other kids? I think the seniors might have. No, I'm seeing people shake their heads. That was a really poorly done play version of that. It was awful. It was terrible. We went there, and there was like one cool thing. They hadn't even finished writing the play. It was a disaster. And I get that sense of the play version of this. I'll watch that as well. The book is recursive, which means you're going to see the same event from multiple ways. You're going to see multiple people's views. So not really a spoiler alert. You'll see Ted Lavender. If you've read the first chapter, Ted Lavender dies. You're going to see Ted Lavender's death spoken about and viewed from multiple angles. Other people in the book, it's war. Other people in the book die, and we will see their deaths talked about early, talked about as they happen, and then revisited over and over again. And that's challenging, but it is something to be aware of, because we'll see that also with our final book of the year, which is The Road. And I think this is it. Yeah, this is our last slide here. Be looking for the following: military political things. There's a purpose there. So it's not like Democratic or Republican, but about whether the war is worthwhile or not. And then, of course, military things. I don't know of any of you that have decided you want to go into the military. I actually did not see if Hialeah was here today. I know the Hialeah's brothers from back in the day were talking about going in the military. If any of you are, I don't see Hialeah here. If any of you are, I don't know that. But obviously there's an awful lot talked about with military relationships, about men in battle, and then also dealing with the way that men and women are treated. There's a lot of really weird stuff in this first chapter. And then there's a later chapter that deals specifically just with relationships. That's the Sweetheart of Song Trabong. That's the name of the whole chapter. There's a weird chapter there too. And then maturity, or the lack thereof. There's a scene, and again, I don't know if, I think Nora was here. This is not really a spoiler alert. If you've ever seen war movies, there's something called a claymore mine. A claymore mine is like a half moon. At one point in the book, one of the characters straps a puppy to it and blows it up. Yay. That's always an amusing time for boys in the class. Obviously, it's terrible, but this is not really a spoiler alert because it's a minor part of the book. The guy that does, he goes, what am I supposed to do? I'm a kid. Of course I blew up a puppy. So he's like 18, something an 18-year-old would do when dealing with battle and the stress and the pressure, knowing that you could die at any moment. That's the sort of thing that happens. And there's much worse too. We'll talk about that as we go. So it's 12:32. I'm done with my PowerPoint. I am still recording. This is the time to ask questions if you have any. If you don't have any, that's fine. It has been recorded, so I think Connor, and I apologize, Connor. I just see your name here, and I saw that Carson was here. I don't know if Carson like ran away or not. Anyway, if you missed some of this, I'll post the whole video so you can see it later on. That's how that goes. This is a chance for questions. If you don't have any questions, I hope you all have a lovely day. It's snowing where I am. I don't know if it's snowing up in New York. I assume it is, which is ridiculous because it shouldn't be snowing. But and it also looks like the next 10 days are going to be yucky, crappy temperatures as well. I hope you stay safe. I still hope you stay healthy. I hope everything's going okay. Continue to email questions or problems if you have any. Otherwise, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon. And I'll be here for a little bit for questions unless you all run away, and then I'll end the class. So take care. See you soon. And Mara, say hi to the family, and everyone else say hi to all the families. And I don't know.
My dad's here. If you want.
Your dad's there. Owen.
Dad.
Oh, if he's busy, don't pester him.
He went like this.
Oh, hello, Owen. Hello, how are you? It's nice to not see Owen. I mean,
He's open.
That's have a good time. Somebody else unmuted, I think, or am I wrong? Sarah, are you? What's up, Sarah?
I still can't see my comments on here.
So I believe you've been here for the whole time. Please try because I know we covered this.
Because I emailed her too, and I updated my iPad, and I still can't see them.
Okay, so after you updated and Mara ran away, so I get, oh no, she's there. After you updated, Mara, when you did that update through settings, did you turn your iPad off and then on and it worked, or you didn't even have to do it?
No, I just went into settings because she like emailed me an instruction. So I went into settings and I clicked the like to download the thing, and then when I was able to install it, it like went to that screen where it's just like the Apple and there's the loading thing, and then when it was done, I just went into your assignment and the comments showed up. So
okay, so Sarah, have you done all the things she just said? And it's okay if you have not. All the things she just said, have you done those things yet?
Well, I updated it this morning and it said that it was complete, but now it's saying that it's preparing to update. So I don't know why it's.
Okay, so Olivia,
I'll just wait and see.
Olivia, if you don't mind chiming in, you had 2 updates also, right?
Yeah, I did the 2 updates. It still won't work.
Okay, so go ahead.
No matter what I do, it won't work.
Okay, so Sarah, you might be like Olivia, and I don't know, and this is the other thing I apologize for. I couldn't even tell you. I don't know when these updates came from. For all I know, they just popped up yesterday. I don't know. When Mrs. Hinsdale sent me a screenshot of what she sees in Google Classroom, hers looks totally different from mine. So and mine has not changed. Of course, I'm doing it on a computer. I'm not doing it on an iPad, so that might be part of the deal. So Olivia, to answer your question, we could do it this way. And Sarah, if this has to happen for you, I'll do the same thing. What I did that last time is I did a screenshot. And then I pasted the screenshot in Word and sent you a Word file. I'm just going to send you the screenshots inside Message and Gmail. And see, that should make them cleaner, I hope.
Okay.
That makes sense. If it doesn't, I mean, short of what the other thing I could do is, and I actually tried to do this and it didn't work, but I didn't try every way. I can print it as a PDF, and I think the comments show up, and I can send to you that way. So there are still a few different ways, Olivia and Sarah, that we can get this figured out. So,
Mr. Becker,
I'm not telling you for whatever it's worth. Like both of you didn't have tons of comments anyway, if that makes sense. So it's not like there's so many things to do.
Okay.
So,
Mr.
So hold on, Swanee. So try that, Sarah. And again, for everybody, make sure please you email Mrs. Johnson first, because she kind of needs a record too, because for all I know, this is a guess. For all I know, some of you have an older iPad than others, and that could be part of the problem too. Supposedly you all have brand new iPads this year, so that should not be the problem. But I don't know. So we'll sort this out. I know tech can be annoying. I apologize, but we'll try to get this hammered out as quick as we can. So, and Sarah has muted again, and Olivia is muted again. So that's the plan for you guys. Swanee, what's up?
When I get on my laptop, I still can't see my comments.
Okay, so you're on your laptop in Google Classroom and you can't see the comments.
Yeah, and like if I go straight, like directly to Google Docs to look at my essay, the comments don't show up like that either.
Okay. If you don't mind me minimizing this, I'm not going anywhere, but I want to see because Swanee, I think, did you send it to me as a Word file? I feel like you sent it to me differently.
No, I sent it as a Google Doc.
All right, well, hang on a second. Oh, I can't, hold on. All right, I'm gonna have to do this because I can't minimize when I'm recording. Well, hold on, I might be able to do it on my phone while we're doing this because I don't have my iPad. I don't use often because I use this instead. And yeah, so give me a second here as I get into the classroom. I think I can see yours from here. And Swanee. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to return it now because you were one of the first ones. And I think with Aurora was one of the first ones that I actually, I don't know if she's still there. I think she left. Aurora was one of the first ones. Yes, return work to Swanee, where I actually hit return. I didn't have to do that before, but I just returned it to you. So if you, while we're here, if you want to look at there and see if you now can see comments you couldn't before. I'm pretty sure I did that for Olivia and everybody else too. I didn't used to have to do that, and that was one of the first things that the tech people suggested, that I also return the file. So no big deal, but I had not done that before. And I'm looking now, and Olivia is listed as returned. So that shouldn't be, again, Olivia still can't see it. So that might not be it.
Yeah, I still can't see them.
McKinney, okay.
Oh, wait, actually, nope, I can.
You can now.
Yeah, it just took a while.
All right, cool. Let me try, well, I don't know, let's try to return it to Olivia again. I don't know if that's going to make any difference, but I'll give that a shot now. And by the way, Olivia, this doesn't mean I'm still not going to send you comments, but you can check that and see if that works. Nora, you're still here. How are you, Nora?
I'm okay.
Okay. While you're here, do you have any questions?
I was just gonna ask. I emailed her and I did what she said, and I still can't see them.
Okay. So let me know, Olivia. Or you're still not even look. Okay, that's fine. Let me go back to Nora's and see if Nora is listed as somebody that. Nora, I'm going to do what I just did for Swanee and return it to you, and see if that makes any difference. And Swanee, like literally, and she's already left. While she was here, she was able to see it. So now it says that work has been returned to you. I don't know if that'll make any difference, but if you want to check while you're here, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. And Colin ran away. So Olivia, what's up?
Mine didn't work. I checked it. It doesn't work.
All right, so you're easy. I'll take care of that in a second. Well, hopefully that'll work. But there's still multiple ways to take care of this. And Olivia, if you, whether you remember or not, yours, I think the biggest problem was just the past and present tense thing, which is not a huge deal. I mean, it's annoying, but it's not like you have this raft of problems to solve. So that's worth. Allie's unmuted.
Can you return mine too? Because I've been trying both things. I've tried on the computer and on my phone and on my iPad. I updated my phone to like the right software during the Zoom, and like it still didn't work. Okay, so I figured that maybe that might help.
Nora,
I got mine. I can see them now.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so Nora works. All right, cool. Great. So we'll see. Apparently that's a new thing with that new update. I have to, even though I give comments and it shows me a time that the comments went back, but supposedly I'm going to have to now return them to you. So, and nobody else is here, but some of these people that are here have already given me their revision assignment. So I don't have an answer for you. So, and I'll wait to hear back from Allie. Why not? Since I'm here, I'll try to punt this. So Nora, if you're good, then cool. I'm glad that worked out.
Okay. I got a notification saying something was returned, but nothing showing up in my. Well, okay. I just tried to refresh.
If you heard Swanee for a second, it took a second for them to come up. So I'm not running away yet, but just check that too. Why not try? And again, Olivia, this will be the last time because I don't want to waste your time. We'll try to return to you again, whether it makes any difference. And then Olivia, you've done all those updates, the 2 updates, you've done those. Did you turn your iPad off, turn it back on again after the update?
I did twice.
Okay, so that's not what it is. All right, so I mean, every now and then, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Every now and then, we have a problem with the iPad. Who's that?
Wyatt.
Oh, who's Wyatt? Your brother?
Yep.
All right.
One of them.
What grade's he in?
8th.
All right. So anyway, well, Olivia, I'll do that by hand, and we'll take care of that way. And Al, and
It's still not returned.
Allie, what?
It's still not returned. I've like quit Google Classroom and gone back into it a few times.
Okay.
But I'll try again in a little bit to see if it works.
All
I
right.
don't know. It might just be slow.
Yeah, send me an email. Let me know, and then
Okay.
I can do for you what I have to do for Olivia. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Olivia, any other questions?
No.
Very good. Okay, and we'll do this in just a second. Thank you. And then if you can't see it again, you got to let me know.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Allie, have a good day. Wherever you are.